Ni de aquí, ni de allá. I'm sure you've heard it. Neither from here, neither from there. So we're the perfect hybrid, right? We're the definition of what a melting pot is. And a melting pot isn't what we've been led to believe. It's the reality that you don't fully assimilate, and we intertwine cultures and we intertwine different ways of living and language, and that's what we are as Latinx people. We're a melting pot, and that's the part that rubs people the wrong way on both sides, right? So, okay, you don't speak Spanish, the Latin side, or you don't speak Portuguese. Like, what are you lost your language? Yeah, but I eat the same food. I listen to the same music, right? So we're a melting pot. We're not like a stern one direction. Okay, over here, they're like, well, you have a Miami accent, or you have a New York accent that it sounds Latin. It's like you speak English, but you have an accent. Like, yeah, I have a regional accent like anybody else. It just happens to be heavily Latin influence, right? So that's our life in a nutshell. It's like we're not Latin enough for the family members. We're not Americanized or English enough for everybody else that we live with. And even if we do pass the test, like, for example, I have a very Floridian accent, right? And not Miami, but like North Florida. But look at me, right? So obviously they're like, so what are you, right? So we always get that question, where are you from? And they're really just asking like where our parents or our grandparents are from, and like what our ethnic origins are and that kind of stuff, which I don't have an issue with people asking. But what does rub people the wrong way is when we don't fully, quote unquote, assimilate to their standards. And that's okay, we don't have to. And we're a hybrid, and that's awesome. That's what makes us special, and that's what gives us our superpower. The only downfall to this is in the markets, they're really just catering to English language. So definitely America, UK, and Australia, and all the other countries that chip in to speak English are jumping on board with the courses and all the information in English, but it's cookie cutter. It's just, get from point A to point B, and it only serves people that have had that experience. So there's a lot of disconnect, and that's why there's a really big opportunity for all the people to niche down for people like, for example, maybe people are in Indonesia, they have the courses in English, right? And in my case, the Latinx community is underserved too. So there's stuff coming now into the Spanish market, but it's very small, it's very limited, and also very cookie cutter to that experience, right? It's very different when you've lived in a country multiple generations, you only speak that language, and there is like a cultural, there are mindset shifts that you have to do that are cultural. You do have to do limiting beliefs in both areas, but there's some that are very specific to our community, and it comes into the fact that we're not assimilated enough, or we've let go too much of our cultural roots, right? But that doesn't matter. We can be and exist as much as we are. And I wanted a community where we could have a place where we feel like we can belong. And if you want to post in Spanglish, you can post in Spanglish. If you want to post in Spanish, you can. There's tools now. There's resources for people to translate, Google Translate. And I love that vibe. So I was like, okay, so I have the community now, and I need to create something that's going to help entrepreneurs, Latinx entrepreneurs like myself, where I felt it was missing. There was a gap for it. So what I went ahead and did is that I created a Latinx 10K Launchpad to get you started turning your skill set, your knowledge, your entrepreneurial experience into a community and into a course, digital product that you can start monetizing your skill set, okay? So what makes me different and what makes this framework different is that I wanted to hit those mindset barriers and those limiting beliefs that plague us versus somebody that's lived the life here and somebody that's lived the life here, right? We're like two oceans meeting together, and all that undercurrent of like baggage that we're carrying from both sides that we need to let go before we can get started and start building something, right? And the stuff we're going to run into when we're building. So that's definitely different. This definitely caters to us and to our community and to the experiences that you've lived growing up in this, navigating this world, right? Also, I wanted to touch on the fact that we love the word blueprint when it comes to coaching, to online businesses, all this other good stuff, right? But what good is a blueprint except it's a piece of paper, right? I love blueprints. I majored in construction in high school, and I took AutoCAD. If I hadn't gone into graphic design, I love blueprints. If I could hang my wall, I could probably, actually, that's a good idea. I might do that in the future. Just make a wall with blueprints and then put resin over it. It'll look pretty cool. But I love blueprints. But they're just a map of where you need to go. It's putting down like your idea, your vision, It's putting it onto a piece of paper, onto a computer document. Yes, it's important. You need the blueprint. But the blueprint by itself isn't going to build a house, right? You need to put the work, you need to order the material, you need to gather the material, you need to supervise every stage. So with Latinx 10K Launchpad, that's what I did. So you're going to go in and you're going to build your foundation. You're going to figure out your niche, and we're going to go over the limiting beliefs and your mindset in every single stage of it. Then we go into phase 2, where you go into, I just lost my train of thought. So phase 1 is build your foundation, and phase 2 is create your irresistible offer. And each phase that you're going through, you're learning and you're building and you're implementing and taking action. And then phase 3 is visibility, which is marketing and content creation. And then phase 4 is sales. And then phase 5 is taking everything you've learned once you hit your first 10K month and rinsing and repeating and scaling. All right. So as you're going through each step builds. So first one is foundation. Next one is your irresistible offer. So the terminology is related to our coaching business. But if you think about it, our blueprint is like, okay, our vision or idea. Our foundation is the base. Our irresistible offer are the studs, right? Your visibility is your roof, right? Your sales is you putting the siding on your house. So it's not just a blueprint. You're taking the steps and you're building it. Now, the internet has all kinds of resources, and my community does too, and you can do it by yourself. But why do it by yourself when you can have somebody guiding you, when you can have a coach that'll answer your questions immediately? So that's really, it's up to you. It's your decision. You can do it by yourself, which will take a little bit longer. It'll be harder. Or you can do it with Latinx 10K Launchpad, one-on-one coaching, and it'll be faster, easier, and fun. If that's a word. All right? But it'll be a lot more fun, dad jokes aside. But anyways, have a great day.